Arise, minions, and welcome to unMadeGaming. We are here. We are back. The cameras, again, why? I just fixed this. Whatever. Whatever, a camera. Do whatever you want. You don't listen to me. It's like my toddler. That being said, we are here. We are back for the post-mortem of the Rise. And, you know, a post-mortem, as lovely as it sounds, means, you know, after death. Which means that the campaign, The Rise, has come to a conclusion. The Rise has ended. The gods have saved the day. They've definitely done something. But we're here. We're gonna chit-chat about our experience in this campaign. And I'm gonna answer, to the best of my ability, the questions that the community has provided, that chat will provide, and that the players here have been burning in their pockets for quite some time. So, as usual, if you guys like what we do here and you want to support the channel, the best way to do it is just like these fine folks you see here before you, by jumping down in the description down below, joining us on the Patreon, joining us in the Discord, and being a part of the community and being a part of the conversation. With that being said, while everyone here's snacks on cookies and other things and troubleshoots their internet, I'm gonna jump over to the Discord and see what we have for questions here. Let's see here. Question number 1 we have from Norm himself. Who was Arua's father? Who was Arua's father? No one's gonna like this. Arua's father was Galvant.
I don't like that.
Sorry, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Galvin?
Yeah.
The Mushroom Man?
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why? That doesn't make any sense, man.
What is it? Why would that have to make sense? Sometimes you just bone. Like, what do you...
Galvin the Mushroom Man.
Yeah, he had boy parts, she had girl parts. That's how you make a baby. Like, that's what doesn't make sense there. Like,
Okay.
I said no one's gonna like it because there was no, like, crazy narrative fucking, like, she was the daughter of the god of the sun. Like, no, it's just a guy. Just a guy.
Yeah, like Galvin. Like, if you said, oh, it's just some random dude in Samora, I'd be like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Samora.
Just because we didn't meet him until, like...
Yeah, well,
after
we went to his
Aru was
house.
born.
Yeah, he doesn't know. He doesn't know.
Aru
But he knows her. Surely he
Aru
must
was
know
there at the town.
Yeah.
So how would he... No. Okay, well...
No, but he knew Sephany. And
Yeah,
Sephany
he knew
was...
Stephanie.
He knew Sephany in a one-night stand.
But they didn't talk about it. He was like, "Hey, how are you?"
No. So the narrative. So this is why I said no one's gonna like this. So the narrative arc was that the plot piece there. It's not even a plot piece. It's just what I decided. It didn't matter. They didn't matter. Is that the divine spark? Just because some of you had it through like lineages and shit like that, which I wanted to like showcase, but it doesn't. It's irrelevant. So the parentage doesn't matter. Sephany, her biggest achievement in the world is the birth of Arua. And possibly a little, you know, romantic interest from Antares. And Galvin, he has enough magic to make magic plants grow in his yard. But he's a bibliomancer at best. He's like a magician you would hire for a kid's birthday, not one you'd see in Vegas. They were two largely insignificant people that had no great, no great interest or influence in the world, and they had a one-night stand.
Yeah,
They hooked up in a tavern, and that was it.
that's totally fine. But like,
they both got drunk at a tavern and
yeah, but like, it's totally fine.
someone had to
I'm
make
just
the walk
saying
of
that
shame.
Yeah. And Terry's asked her about the father, and she could have went, it was Galvin, you know?
No,
Or I think
it was like a drunk one night stand.
oh, she
Like
doesn't
neither
know.
one of
Okay.
them, the idea was that neither one of them really registered who each other was.
That's fair.
That was my my ambiguous way to keep them. They didn't know. She didn't recognize him either. He didn't recognize her.
Oh, okay.
I like
Yeah.
it. What
I
was
know
he
no one was
doing?
gonna like that. That was
But
not
how long have you known? How long have you known? Since the
episode
beginning?
episode like 4 or 5.
Oh, man. That's crazy.
Yeah.
We were days away from Corso when we met him. What was he doing in Corso?
He was still in the Nightlands.
I mean,
Snow,
Well,
if you say you predicted that, I'm leaving.
I did not
the stream.
predict that. No.
In none of Norm's notes to me is that in there. I mean,
Yeah.
Chris, Korax and Mina are from a village way the fuck out in the ruinscape. Like, what are you doing in Corso? You know?
And remember,
Corax was a guy.
Korax told him he had stuff to sell, so he was selling it somewhere.
Mhm.
Yeah. Corax at least had reasons. He was traveling with a weirdo.
I mean, there's only one big city in the Nightlands, really, and that's Corso. So maybe he was
Okay.
buying magical herbs for his fucking weird lawn, you know?
Just like Mike, it feels like you just before this episode, you were like, "Fuck, who do I remember? Galvin."
I
As long as
I
you didn't
wish I
say
had
that.
that much forethought. No, it was Galvant. It was Galvant or no or a random person was my original idea. I did for a second, I will say I did for a second, think to do some sort of immaculate conception. But I was like, nah, that's too cheesy in a game about gods. That's too overdone. And then until I wrote Galvant as a character, it was random guy. And then I was like, it's gonna be this random guy. And then you guys had your interaction with him, and I went, I'm so glad there was that random guy.
I just remember how Korax was so mad at him after the slave attack. He's like, stomp, 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 stomp,
Yeah.
stomp. And then go and yell at him.
Yeah, you guys had zero respect for that guy. And I was like, I'm so happy
Good
that it was
reason.
him.
Well,
It's
and
because
Terry's
he
taking
always
care.
wore a bathrobe.
He didn't wear, it was just in a regular robe. It's a regular robe. God damn it, he's not the dude.
He's not. He's Hugh Hefner now. Now that he's got the baby daddy
Apparently.
status.
Christ. Let's see. What is Seydlitz's niece's domain?
Mm.
So I went back and forth on this one. And I'm still not 100% certain. So it
Well,
is
the thing is, that was undecided by me on my end because Mike did that himself.
Yeah. I was going between either the domain of creativity, which would fall somewhere under the bracket of knowledge. Because the way I look at it is like there's always like a root kind of god, like that's like the broader thing, and then there's like more specificity. Like Chronotus was the god of magnetism, which would fall underneath the god of earth. Like that's like the larger banner. So either creativity or something to do with the home. Because we had another like home-based god, which was
Sia.
yes,
God of the Hearth?
goddess of the hearth. Yeah. So they would be under the same sort of category. I don't know what that upper echelon category would have been, but they would have been under that same category. So either creativity or something to do with the home of something like that. Yeah, we didn't get to see. She didn't manifest her powers. And the reason that Arua manifested her powers so quickly and also grew faster than anyone was because you guys weren't pieces of shit. That's literally it. like, so she's the goddess of spring. And like scientifically, studies show that if you give plants what they need and also like love them, and like sometimes play like music for them and do other things, they grow better and faster. So had you guys been shitty or like left her, like you had plenty of opportunities to like drop her off other places, but because you cared for the mother and daughter, brought them to the city, then continued to interact and care for them, and then made sure that she was like not living on the streets and like had a place in the queen's castle and went to a school, she was shown all this love and support, and so she grew faster, like a plant. Was my
all
logic
Korax.
there.
Yeah, Korax wanted to leave them behind, so
Yeah. Had that
So no
happened, she would have been a
thanks to
baby. That's why like it's only been a few months from the start of the campaign. That's why she's like a 7-year-old, right? She like she aged years in months of time because she was given all of the nutrients and sunlight and water and love and music that she needed. So that was why she exploded in power. Is there any knowledge? These are all questions from Norm so far. Is there any knowledge that Korax, the cleaning solution, that Korax would consider too dangerous to be available to everyone? Chris?
Most of it. I don't know. I don't think there's specific knowledge that he wouldn't want people to have, other than maybe the existence of the seed.
Mhm.
The fact that the seed even exists.
Interesting.
Would
like
he
that.
wipe that knowledge or just hide it?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting retrospective, because in the moment you didn't. So now it's out there. You did not prune any knowledge. That's interesting.
Can I segue to a question then from that?
Yeah.
What you just said?
Yeah.
What do
You guys can
mean by-
jump in with questions whenever you want. I'm just looking at the
Yeah.
Discord and shuffling these things off.
Because I didn't watch the VOD because I'm still traumatized.
That's fair.
What do you mean it's out there? Like the seed is out there. Like, what do you mean? Like it's
No.
flown
The
out
knowledge.
Okay, but like,
So-
where is the seed? Is still in the fifth deep. Okay.
Isn't it the 6th deep now because of how that works?
No, you didn't remake the world. You kept it the same.
Yeah.
No, Chris's wish was, or Korax's wish was that knowledge was freely available, not bound in like the libraries of nobles and like everyone had the internet, right? Everyone now has access to Wikipedia, right? So if their knowledge exists, people can have access to it. And therefore, if there is any knowledge that the seed exists, it is now available to anyone who goes looking for that knowledge.
Yeah.
Korax
if it was
didn't
ever
prune
documented,
anything. What's that?
It's there.
Yeah.
If it's ever been documented anywhere, it's out there.
I feel like that might be their first argument when they return. Is Antares would want him to remove the knowledge, and he'd be like, "No, it's my knowledge," and she'd be like, "You're so stubborn." And then he's like, "Have you met you?" Yeah. So I think that would be like one of their first arguments.
That's so funny that you said that. So I started listening to I have been listening to it. It's been like years. Worlds Beyond Number, Brennan Lee Mulligan, Abria Iyengar, Eric Ishii, and Lou Wilson's podcast. And the first, so they're calling their seasons are like chapters, and the first, so book 1 has ended. And they did a Marvel What If sort of episode, but they're calling it Other Tomorrows. And so they're going back and answering like kind of like what ifs like this, right? Except occasionally, this is like a multi-hour long episode, but occasionally they're actually going back and replaying that scene, and being like, okay, what if they had did this instead of this? And then like they jump in and like play that scene. That's kind of fun. But here, like the argument between Antares and Korax would be interesting. As I said to G, if you guys have any questions in the moment that pops into your brain, feel free to ask, and chat as well. If you have questions about the Rise, jump on in, ask those questions. I'll A those cues.
you touched on something
Yeah,
in the previous question. I thought I'd wait. Chronotus,
yeah,
the god of magnetism. What happened to him?
he's there.
Because we didn't touch on him and what he was doing with his. My brain wants to say a school.
That's an okay word for it. I would have called it a cult, but a school is also applicable. There's a lot of similarities, a lot of crossover there.
Yeah, like what was he doing? What was his plan there with his followers?
Honestly, he was so Chronotus was at the same stage of his situation as you guys when you got to Samora, where he understood what he was and was trying to figure out. So he was not ascended yet. Like, he did not become a demigod yet. He just had powers, understood that he was magical, and his what the hell did they call him? Whatever, your divine
Acolyte?
task.
Your trial.
Oh, the labor.
Your trial.
Your labor, yeah.
Yes, he labors. His labor was the school. He was developing a school. Basically, he was training monks. He was training a priesthood. He was building a following. And that was his divine labor. So that was the point of the school, was the more people there supported him, the closer he would be to reaching his divinity. So that's what he was focusing on, was building this monastery of monks, of gravity defying monks, to ascend to godhood. And had you guys stayed there and like I said, there was a bunch of like spaghetti shotgun plots. There's plots all over the place. So had you guys stayed there and helped him, his would have been the first ascension. By you helping him would have sort of pushed him over the edge, and he would have ascended as the first risen, the first new god of magnetism. Yes, yeah, that's my question. That's my answer for that.
First god of magnetism.
Yeah,
I
the
have a
first god of yeah.
In Old Nemero, this is very niche,
Yep.
so it might have an answer. When Antares saw that reconciliator in the pub, he handed the barkeep like a flyer or a stack of flyers, and she looked at them and then put them underneath the counter. What was on the flyers? Did you have that planned?
Oh, they were you had them?
No, he gave it to
the bartender. Oh, yeah. They were, because I was like, I don't remember you having the flyers. Because I would have told you what they were.
I didn't see what they were.
Oh, yeah, they're wanted posters. They're wanted posters for your companions.
Okay, so for the boys.
Yeah, they didn't. You were a different thing. But yeah. the original 4 players, they did crimes. They fought reconciliators in Corso. They fled from reconciliators in Corso. There was a massacre inside of a broken down courtyard. An angel was summoned. Like, it was a whole a bound angel was summoned. People died left and right. There was crime all over Corso, and then they fled. And also the dragon was aware of the child and wanted it, so they fled and also stole something from the dragon. So they were, enemy number 1. Which also tais into part of the reason why the queen, or not the queen, the empress helped Chryserich with their attack. That's why reconciliators were sent north, is because she knew you were there. Because she found out from the pass, Sia's pass. So she knew where you were, or where you were going, and sent troops along with the undead or the reanimated to try to kill you guys and take back what she wanted. Because she did not know what you were, Antares. She knew who you were. The dragon knew the entire time that you were the daughter of the King of Dreams. But you had not shown any divine anything. and you were well into your 20s. So she just thought you were cool. Like you were just like a strong. None of the three of you, Eltanin, Rastaban, none of you had shown like divine power, and so Arua showed divine power immediately, like at birth. And so there's one thing to having the favored be useful to her. There's another thing to raising a literal god and having a literal god be faithful to her. So she wanted Arua to help extend her rule.
Okay, but she was still my mother, my birth.
Oh yeah, she was 100% your mother. Yeah, she was your actual blood mother.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's not a good person, it turns out.
No. Yeah, and I didn't plan all my questions beforehand, so I'm trying to write them all down.
Take your time. She turns out your mom was a bad person. Genuinely a bad person.
In the book, that's how she's written.
Yeah. Another question here from Normal Everyone thinks, will Antares see Orion again? And this is a trick question with a trick answer. Antares both never saw Orion to begin with and also can see him whenever she wants. Because he's not real. He's not a real person. So G had written this backstory with I think it was just like a line in your story was like this, you saw this guy who like in your moment of weakness like helped you up, like helped you get over yourself.
Yeah, like it was kind of like he spoke to her kind of prophetically.
Yeah.
Like she ran into him after she escaped from the dragon's people or whatever, and then she asked him, "Oh, end my life," and he said no, and he knew things about her and told her that he wouldn't do that for her.
Yeah. And I thought, given G's character, that she was like a bad person, who had realized that they were like that comedy skit of like are we the bad guys? That like finally Antares figured out that she was the bad guy and was like, oh, do I want to continue being the bad guy or not? And that's sort of when Antares crashed out, and that's sort of when she met Orion and was like, please kill me, because this is a bad time. And I thought, wouldn't it be interesting if this lifeline, this person that like in your backstory, like saved your life by like not, by sort of setting you on the path, was like, not like a split personality, but like a fragment of your psyche was the part of you that wanted to be good. But like you had to be tested. You had to prove it. Because you had to prove it to yourself more than anything. Was that it's one thing to be like, I'm a bad person, but I want to do good, and then just keep doing bad things. You have to like follow through. And I thought, wouldn't it be interesting if Orion was like the face of the follow through? To sort of like, put a person to it, as if someone's asking you these questions, as if someone's holding up the mirror and not just you yourself holding it up.
Yeah, I really liked that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So technically, with enough effort, which as a god now is probably minimal, Antares could see Orion whenever she wants to. No one else could, but it's always nice to have an imaginary friend. What's that?
Does it really matter?
Yeah,
She
exactly.
can see him?
Yeah, as long as you know you have an imaginary friend, that's totally fine. So Red in chat has a question for all of you guys. What is everyone's favorite character moments?
That's a tough one. There are a lot of good moments.
I always come back to Korax's first ascension. It's a scene that still sticks with me, where he's in the library, reading through books. Books start hovering, and then you get all the ravens on the bookshelves. Still love that scene. Always come back to it.
Yeah. And mine for Antares is when she decapitates the Reconciliator in Old Nemero. I thought that was a very badass moment. And we all, We had to spend 4 XP to get it done, I think. But
It was a lot.
yeah, but it was worth it because I also think the visual of it was really damn cool narratively. So yeah.
Matt,
I think for Mina, it was probably the moment he, I guess, started the attack on Samora, fighting at the gate.
Mm.
Okay. I like that a lot. Matt?
For me, that's a bit rough because there are quite a few moments, and obviously, I'm not as experienced as the group here, so there are a lot of things I can kind of point to as like, oh, I like this moment, I like that one. But if I had to have one definitive moment, I think it's Seydlitz's time in the deep dark forest among the spirits,
Yeah.
trying to figure out kind of who he is.
Yeah, I like that. Especially I liked when he interacted with the 2 spirits, like the skull bear and then the fox.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really fucking cool.
I won't do a GM cop out. I'll do one for each of you. I think almost all of my almost all of my favorite moments revolve around you guys dying. I think so for Norm, for Mina, you know, I have to give it to Wexy dying. That is I think that's one of like that's a movie poster scene, right? Like that for sure, like the rain and the crater and like the holding, like that's a scene that you like, you frame that scene. But I think those are one of those, that was one of those scenes where like, and I think most of these are those scenes that like, this could be bad. This could go, it's either going to go good or bad. It's like, it's going to be like really cool or it's going to be bad and everyone's going to hate this. And I think that was one of those scenes, especially since like that was not pre-planned between Norm and I. I wasn't like, hey man, the love interest you wrote into your backstory that we've been playing for a few months now, I'm gonna kill her. You cool with that? That didn't happen. But like in the moment, like it felt right, and I'm like, and I'm glad it went off the way it did. Because that could have been like, everyone could have been like, fuck you, no, we love this character, you're a terrible person, bring her back to life now. But like everyone had that same. What's that?
We thought all of that.
Yeah. I was gonna say, but everyone thought all of that, and then sat with those feelings and played through it, and it was a beautiful scene. So that is my character moment for Mina. For Matt and Seydlitz, it's when you died. So it's Seydlitz got fucking destroyed by that bear. Seydlitz couldn't hit shit. He got fucked up by a big nasty spirit bear who was the spirit of decay. And the subsequent scene between the spirit of decay and the spirit of life became this very interesting like interplay where like both of these spirits gave up, like had like a timeless commune and like gave up a part of themselves to bring back this god of the hunt because they both resonated with them in a way. And I thought that was very cool because in my mind, which we didn't get to touch on, the spirits are different than the gods, and like spirits are a constant, just like the what was his name? Oh God,
Talbot?
the guy at the end.
Oh,
Nomikos.
Nomikos. He's a constant, and the spirits are constant. So the spirits have been here for all recreations of the world, and they exist unless someone actively was like, "Fuck them," I delete them. They've been here forever, and I thought it was a very cool moment to have a god so attuned to nature and the hunt like resonate with these two like ancient timeless spirits and sort of like connect in that way. I thought it was very cool. And then Chris as Korax, when you died, I set a trap for you and it worked out beautifully. And then you rolled like the worst roll you could roll and died. And I thought it was the funniest shit. There's no prose. There's no like deeper meaning. There's no like beautiful scene. It was just that was probably like the single most fitting death for Korax. And there was no meaning behind it. There was no intentionality behind it. It was literally, I read a section of the book and I went, that would be funny if Chris died here. And then I put it in and you're like, a library, you say, with books, you say, I'll read them all, dead. And I was like, that's fucking absolutely perfect. That's absolutely perfect for that character. And like I had a billion contingencies because I knew there was no way that you would not read those books. And I just thought that was the funniest shit ever. Yeah, that was absolutely perfect. And then for Antares and G, this one was sort of like a background situation, and it was one of those things where like G, you kept messaging me about it, and I kept saying yes, I love that because I do, and then whatever happened, it just never got there. And it was the relationship with Sephine. Antares had a big giant lady boner for Sephine, and they kept trying to have like moments, and we do get to see them, like we do get to see moments in there, but due to the shenanigans of adolescent boys, Antares, Antares kept having to do other shit instead of
Seydlitz was there too.
Yeah,
Exactly.
but Seydlitz is there.
He was supposed to keep us in line.
Seydlitz is there. Seydlitz being there is the same thing as like when a mom leaves the house and she comes back and like the kids are passed out on the floor. All they've eaten for dinner is candy. The house is disheveled. Toys are everywhere. And the mom goes to Seydlitz and be like, "What the fuck?" And he goes, "Oh, I watched them. They're alive. Okay."
Mm-hmm.
It's 100. Like Seydlitz was like, "All right, boys, you're adults. You fucking figure it out."
Yeah.
Perfect dad energy.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, Seydlitz had big dad energy, and Antares had disappointed mom energy, and we stand that. But yeah, G as Antares had to like between figuring out her own bullshit and her internal psyche, and then dealing with these two teenage boys, had less time to smooch ladies. So that's just
there was no smooches.
Yeah, that's the reality of it.
Yeah, every time they did interact with each other. Like the one time she picked up Arua from school and walked her home or back to their apartments. Like it just turned into a really awkward interaction.
Yeah,
and I'll also say like Antares got the house. Like that was one of her stipulations for her reward for helping with the war. The whole plan was to get this house and literally give it to Sephine. Like, okay, like she was gonna like fix it up. Like I had a scene where she was all domestic with like, the bandana or tying her hair back, and she's got the apron and she's carrying a box of flowers. Like she was gonna beautify this house and then give it to Sephine and Arua. And then she was just gonna go back and live in the tavern, unless like obviously if relationship stuff happened, then they could live together. But then she asked her about no longer staying in the castle, and Stephanie's like, "No, I want to still stay here. I like it here." And she was like, "You don't want your own house?" And she's like, "No, I'm good."
Which is so funny because like that's the thing is like that's the GM of it all and like the player of it all is like you and I have the context because I think you messaged me about that as well. But like Sephine has none of the context. So she's like, "Yeah, I'm fine here. I have everything I need here. Like it's close to work. It's close to, school. Like it's we have all the things. I don't need to move." But she had no idea that you wanted to give her a house, right? Like if you were like, oh, I was thinking about giving you my house, she'd be like, oh my god, that's crazy. Like, are you sure? But
She's
like
where are
without
you gonna stay? Like, I'm just gonna go back to the inn. See ya.
yeah. Like without the context, and then every scene we had between Stephanie and Terry's was like was so painful. It was like all those moments where like two people on a bench just slowly slide closer together, and then like one of them turns to the other one, and then the other one gets a phone call, and you're like, oh, excuse me, hold on one second. You're like, fuck, God. Like there were so many scenes where you're like, oh my God, if anything happens in the city, please, I have this magical medallion that will teleport you anywhere you need to be. And like your hands are like clasped around hers, and then you're like looking, and she's looking, and you're like, I have to go be a general.
Yeah.
Just like leave.
Because after we spoke to the queen, and then Stephanie parted ways with us, and Terry's sent her a gift, like a little white bag, right, as a gift, and inside was the amulet of the far traveler that she had picked off the corpse of the reconciliator.
Yep.
And the whole time everyone's like, you have this amulet, and she's like, I don't have an amulet. It's like, but you found this amulet. It's like, I don't have an amulet, because she literally gave it away, but she didn't tell the boys about it. And there was also like a stuffed animal for Arua, and then a letter I wrote and everything, but we never got to discuss what the note said. So yeah.
There was a lot of just like, it was just like the misconnection section of the newspaper, which was like, and it was so funny because like we would keep like G and I would message back and forth about it, and I'm like, yeah, let's do that in the next episode. Carve out a scene for yourself, and she's like, cool. And the next episode would happen, and then some fuckery went down, and she's like, well, I didn't have time. I'll do it the next episode. I'm like, you got it. Next episode. And then we next episode ourselves right out of that city. So funny.
So I do have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Is Seth, because when we left for the deeps, and Terry's said, "Here's my house. You're gonna live here while I'm not here. Make sure my plants don't die." Is she still in the house?
She would have been. Yeah, I mean, unless you like, if you come back to the city, she'll be there.
Sweet.
One of those things is like at a minimum, regardless of like the missed feelings, you still helped save her life and guard her child. So like the least she can do is live in your nice house and water your plants. So like, yeah, she's gonna stay there. And if you die, that's where she just lives now. She'll just continue watering your plants until she dies. Also, your house is like a tiny jungle.
Yeah, that's what I was expecting.
Your plants are thriving. they're thriving. People talk about your house like it's a Disney movie where like birds just fly by and land on the roof because it's like plants are coming out of the windows and shit. I
have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Written down, just to pivot completely in the opposite direction of Miss Smooches. The Seydlitz interrupted the monologue of King Jaseth at the very end. I want to know what King Jaseth was going to say.
Oh shit! All right, hold on.
I hate monologues.
Yeah.
Hold on.
You said, I can't remember. He's like, "Oh, I kill him," and everyone was like, like, I am going to tell you everything, and he's like, "Rat."
I don't know where I wrote that down. Shit. Hold on. Stand by.
A paraphrase would be good too.
Oh, dude, I can't paraphrase. That was so long ago. The Rise. Where are we?
You're making him look it up.
Episode 36.
Wow. Really? Only 36? Okay.
Nope, it wasn't 36. It was after 36. Episode 38. Do I have the notes in there? Oh, nope. That says post-death montage, which means this is probably episode 37. Did I write the actual speech down in here?
I also want to know if Corax's family is safe.
I
don't
did
know.
not write the actual.
Aw.
I wonder if I have him somewhere else. I'm gonna keep looking while we're talking. Corax's family is safe. Everyone is safe. Everyone from Dawn's Fall made it out. Everyone from Dawn's Fall made it out. They are all safe.
And they all went through Nod, didn't they?
They all went through Nod, yeah.
All right, my next question. What's up with Nalumriel and Antarius' father?
They boned.
Yeah, like, okay. Yeah, they boned, but like and then how did it end up with Nalumriel stealing her? Like, what were the circumstances involving that? Like stealing her and then essentially being horrible to her, right? Like, why didn't she tell her that she was her mother type shit, you know?
Yeah. You're personally not gonna like this. But it's the facts. You're a disappointment. You were a disappointment. So the argument was that what the hell's his name? Raphael, whatever the god of the moon, the god of dreams, fully believed that you were graced with his divine gift. And you were. And he wanted to raise you on Nod, where they had been living together, as a god. And she didn't want that. She wanted you among the people. She wanted you so that basically there was a fight over how you should be raised. And like, here's the thing. The King of Nod is also not a good person. Just to clear up the air on that one. The reason he's still alive, unlike Antares had a good reason to be mad at Arel, but like her logic as to why she hid herself was understandable. The God of Dreams, as soon as shit started going bad, he went, nope, and noped out of godhood to live. He only wanted to survive. So he's not, so he just let people die. He let the moon do its own thing. He let all kinds of crazy shit happen that he could have prevented. And it's been, 40 years? And he could have done all kinds of other shit since then and just was like, nah, I'm just going to have dream magic and not have any of my divine spark, right? So he fucked off.
So he's not an activated god like Arel is. Or
correct. In the same way that she hid hers in her spear, the mask that is in his vault, it holds all of his divinity. So he just hid his divinity away, locked it away, and he wanted to raise Antares as a god. And Nalumriel, also not a good person, not as bad as she was when we met her, but still not a good person. Was a sorcerer of some power, and did hoard shit like a dragon, right? That's how she was a dragon when she was, hooking up with the King of Dreams. But she wanted to raise you her own way, and there was a fight, and so she stole you. And then over years of raising you as like the first favored, essentially, you did not show any divine spark. And every day and every week and every month and every year that you continued to be normal was another disappointment. And so the longer you lived, the more disappointing you became to her. So that's part of why she became such a horrid bitch. Is she thought she would be raising a god, and she was instead raising a normie. And then when you became a god, she was like, motherfucker. And that's why she sent a bunch of reconciliators to kill you, because she was like, you fucked me. Like, I could have conquered the world so much longer ago if you just fucking showed up. Okay, now you die.
Sorry, not sorry.
yeah, reasonable.
Totally
reasonable.
not sorry.
Let me see if I can find the rest of my notes on this guy. Let's see here. What other questions do we have?
Can Rastaban be redeemed?
Yeah.
And a bigger question, can Rhea be redeemed?
That's not up to me. I think so.
All right, then I'll ask
That
Nora.
sounds like a Rel's problem.
What was that?
It sounds like a Rel's problem. It's not Mina's problem.
And Terry, I thought about this moment, like, and Terry's would in the moment she would check with Mina to see if he believes that she's worthy of redemption. And then if he said yeah, if it was an affirmative, then she would help her with redemption, and if it was a negatory, she would kill her.
I
That's
mean,
interesting.
with Wesley coming back, I think Mina would be indifferent. He would just say that it's completely up to you.
Mm.
I mean, the whole reason that Rhea was so angry was she thought that all of Mina's family was dead, and they're not.
That's a good sign.
And you know, especially with Arolphus, you know, I'm sure she's going to track Rhea down for a conversation. So I would, depending on how that went, I would say that Mina would give you his blessing to try it, but he wouldn't care either way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah, I totally forgot how things would change now that the entire family is alive and the Dawn's Fall survivors are around. So how that would change her outlook on things.
Yeah.
But if she came like dragging her feet back to Mina looking for forgiveness, and Terry's would be like, "Excuse me," and she would smack a bitch.
And it probably would be a different. There would be a different answer if Antares asked Mina when Wexy was around. Because if Wexy was there, Mina would be saying, "Oh yeah, she can be redeemed, definitely."
Yeah. Does he mean if she left the room, there would be a different answer?
Yeah, then he'd say, "I don't give a shit. Do whatever you want."
Yeah. Love that.
Yeah, I think part of it is like is like, what does redemption mean? So I think a lot of Rhea's shit is herself. Is much like what Antares went through. Is like Rhea fully believes that, like, and she's not wrong, but a lot of people died in what happened when she, like, expressed her powers for the first time, both good and bad. And it wasn't entirely her fault, but, like, lightning did, she caused lightning to happen. A lot of it was also the both caused by, and then the feelings afterward were compounded by that orb of misery, right? And so she has like I did a horrible thing, and then that horrible thing was amplified in her mind, and then rather than be like, what can I do to make amends for what I did, it quickly became, if Mina never did what he did, then they never would have attacked, I never would have panicked, this never would have happened. All of this is Mina's fault. And then she went on a, self-indulgent, like psychosis, killing spree. Yeah, fully crashed out. Fell in with the worst crowd, and then tried to kill him. So a lot of it is just like, everyone can forgive Rhea for what she did, owing to the fact that it was largely an accident. Despite the Wexy part, that was fully on purpose. But like the root cause is like, but the redemption has to come from herself. Even if Mina forgave her after he has brought Wexy back to life, she still has to forgive herself and come to terms with what she did, or she's on the same path as Antares. She's on the path that Antares didn't take. She fully goes into vengeance.
Yeah, and the part that Antares would be thinking that she needs is seeking redemption for is for killing Wexy and purposely doing it to hurt Mina. Like that's what she's going. That's in her mind. That's what she needs redemption for.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have one more question, and then because I know the guys also have other questions, I just want to know how Dreshen is, my buddy.
He's fine.
That was useless.
Shut up.
He's fine. He's a good dude. I mean, so Samora, so in the absence of the god generals, and the remnant of the remaining mercenary generals, the queen is incredibly thankful to the adherents for their assistance in the the saving of Samora. She is incredibly thankful to the adherents for their bringing you here. At the end of the day, as much as you guys brought him, Dreshen brought you back. Dreshen sort of did the bed sheet off a body reveal, and was like, hey, I'm actually not just the decrepit old man. It was just sort of a thing. So she is thankful to the adherents, without whom you would not have been presented to her, without whom likely you not talking to Dreshen or passing the adherent, like you guys all like joined the adherents more or less, except for Seydlitz. You would not have been generals in the military. Had you not been generals against the war of the reanimated, you would not have awoken the power within Vishaden, and likely the city would have fallen. So, just like with Rhea, if you go back to the root of it, the queen is incredibly thankful to the adherents. The city now has a god of the city, and like the adherents are out of the shadows. They're rebuilding, like the temple district is being rebuilt to the gods. Like when you guys come back there, like Korax, you have a temple. Like you started building one. It has been like the building process has continued. There is a temple being built in all of your honor. So the adherents are no longer like in hiding. They are openly in the streets of Samora. So Dreshen's doing great.
Nice.
He's doing great. What other questions we got here?
I'm done for mine.
You're done?
So the Heart of Gloom
Yes.
that was stolen from Korax
Yes.
by this evil woman
Mhm.
and thrown away
Agreed.
and picked up by a big fucking snake.
Dropped.
What happened to the area? Threw it away. After we left, that snake was chasing us. Did it go back to being worshipped? Or what happened there?
Yeah, I think so. I didn't have a big plan for that, but like that makes sense. I think the snake, I don't think the snake is a god. Personally, I think the snake is a spirit, much like the bear, the spirit of decay. I think the snake is a spirit, and I think that the what are they called? The Cathrine, something like that. The Kathir. I think they worship that spirit like it's a god. And I think like in the same way that the spirits that Seydlitz interacted with were still animalistic, right? They're still they're baser animals. You guys were not supposed to be where you were, and the people of the city were like, hey, fucking crime. And the spirit responded. So the spirit responded in the way that a predator would, and was like, oh, the people that are bringing me food and worshiping me and doing all these things, I'm gonna fucking eat that guy. So it didn't have anything against you personally. It's just that you were, against the societal norm of their like religious thing. And I do think that the spirit was slumbering. That spirit was 100% slumbering. And the orb woke it up.
Bonk, bonk, like hits it on the head.
Yep.
And Corax in that place picked up 2 ciphers.
Yeah.
One was a tooth, and the other one was a scale. Neither of which he spent time figuring out what the hell they do.
Hmm.
I think the tooth, from memory, he threw it at Mina, and if it had worked, would have paralyzed him. But we never found out what the scale did.
Where?
Or same with my.
I don't think
seed
a lot of
thing.
us. I think a lot of us didn't find out what the ciphers did.
Where did it
Yeah,
go? I thought I wrote it in.
And since you're looking at ciphers, Mike, let's go back to episode 1, when Mina blew up a big punch of ciphers. What would we have gotten if Mina hadn't blown all our ciphers up?
All of your ciphers. I would have filled all of your cipher slots with ciphers.
Look, I'm blaming Rose on that one. That was her idea.
It was her idea.
So the tooth was the same thing that I could have sworn I wrote them in Roll20, but I can't find them. The tooth was the same kind of thing that the K'thri were shooting at you out of their slingshot thingies. So it was a throwable, a shootable, a whateverable item that did like a bunch of extra damage. And the other one, what was the other one?
It was a scale, like a snake scale.
Oh, I remember what that was. That was a cloak.
Ooh.
A cloak.
Yep,
Cloak of
Yep.
armor.
it was a cloak.
Fuck's
It would have
Cloak.
had you like put it on, it would have like given you a scale cloak, like a full scale, like a reptilian snake scale cloak. And I think it had some stats to it, like it had like 1 armor and like protection from something, some kind of energy.
He would have been dripped.
Yeah,
I would have had my cool one that was made by Mina's best mate, and a
Bling.
snake scale armor. And magic armor would have been awesome.
as far as the other items that were in question here, we have the Mother's Gift, which I didn't actually write down whose they were. So whoever had, if you have Roll20 open, whoever had Mother's Gift 4, you have, it was a Spore Veil Cloak, which was a delicate bioluminescent fungal growth that spreads across the user's back like a cloak of living spores. When activated, the cloak unravels into a cloud of spores, creating an impenetrable shroud that obscures the user and up to 2 allies for 10 minutes. Those inside the spore veil are invisible to non-divine entities and gain +1 armor while inside. That was a delicate bioluminescent fungal growth that spreads across. That's all it was.
I think
And
that was
then-
mine. The semi-translucent spore cluster, level 6.
A pale, almost transparent spore cluster, cool to the touch, was called Dreamwalker's Step. When activated, the user momentarily steps into the Dreamlands, allowing them to pass through one solid object up to 3 feet thick. They remain semi-ethereal for 10 seconds after reappearing. And then Mother's Gift number 5. Oh, that's right, because Korax just straight up said, I don't want one. He said, fuck those mushroom people. A flowering spore pod, its petals curling inward like a predator waiting to strike. That was when placed on that was called the Hungering Bloom. When placed on a surface and activated, the bloom bursts into a tangle of fungal tendrils, lashing out at the nearest enemy within long range. The tendrils wrap around the target, dealing 6 points of damage and immobilizing them for 1 minute or until they break free. Which means, did I even add Korax's? I don't think I did, because you were like, I don't like
I think that was the one I think that was the one I got.
It probably was. And then the Heart of Gloom, which I don't know if anyone actually... so the Heart of Gloom had a couple of things. Oh no, you guys had access to the Heart of Gloom.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
we
had
had-
that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Corax was going to use it, and then Terry took it away from him.
Yeah. I
He
think
was
the
gonna use
only
it on the
other
whole
one
pub.
you didn't get was the Lash of Woe, which was the whip that you burnt
Slave
when
masters.
and the Slaver's Whip. The Lash
Yeah.
of Woe is a level 10 artifact. Was the highest artifact you had found. This artifact functions as a normal medium weapon, inflicting 4 points of damage. In addition, targets must succeed at an intellect defense task or suffer an additional 5 points of intellect damage, ignoring armor. Targets who possess divine shifts who fail their defense task do not take additional intellect damage, but lose those benefits, lose access to those divine shifts for 1 minute. During this time, additional strikes from the whip inflict additional intellect damage. Wielders who possess divine shifts who use the Lash of Woe must succeed at an intelligence or an intellect defense task when they attack or they lose their shifts. It is a cursed artifact.
Shit.
Yeah.
There was one other artifact that was level 10, and that was the Grimoire of Dreams. That was a level 10.
Oh, that's right. The Grimoire of Dreams was level 10 as well.
And you used that several times, and you didn't roll the 1, or was it the 10?
Yeah, he used it
I
all
only
the
got
time.
Once.
Yeah.
I failed one roll, yeah. And then Brochet and gave him back the book.
Yep.
Oh. Nice. Well, I think that's all my questions. For now.
Let me see here.
I can ask the questions that I put into Discord.
Yeah, perfect.
So your character is now a fully fledged god. What would their ultimate ability be? What power would they use related to their domain if they had to defeat a foe or achieve something great?
Man.
I mean, I think I already technically have that because of the ascension scene for my character with that final arrow shot, where it's just like an arrow that had like the spirits bounding around it.
That's cool.
I don't know
See
if
that it just gets bigger, almost like in Overwatch, where it's the dragons, but it's the spirits.
Yeah, it's Hanzo's ability.
Go, Mina.
yeah, I don't know if it would be his like final power, but the latest divine power he took was divine conveyance. I mean, I never got to use it because I wanted to introduce it, in a dramatic scene, if possible. And that was he was going to have a kind of floating shield that he could ride on top of.
Ooh, that's cool.
I like how Mina just slowly becomes like Goku. Over the course of
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, I don't know what Antares would do. I think connected directly to her power or to her godhood.
Whatever.
Yeah, I think she would have. I think she'd have the ability to discern the truth of someone's desire to, want redemption. Basically to see into the heart of a person and see their intentions and, basically see if they deserve redemption in the first place. I don't know if I would want her to be like a judge, jury, executioner type of person, but I think being able to discern the truth of someone's intentions helps essentially would help like her plan your therapy. It's like how she would treat you and what you would have to do to earn it. So something very non-combat-y.
Fair.
Yeah.
Well, Korax.
So for Korax, it would be the ability to either provide or remove knowledge from people.
Ooh.
But any and all knowledge in their head. So he could remove someone's thoughts that they were even a god, remove all their knowledge to the point that as if they were a child.
Wow.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's a wild take.
In most magic settings, that type of mind manipulation magic is technically forbidden.
Not if you're a god.
Not if you make the rules. So, like, Chris...
We never said Korax was a good guy.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Technically, he'd be... Well, I'm not saying technically. Like I said, this is how he would be. Like, typically, you'd be like a neutral god, if
But
any.
that's how Chris always played Corax. He would do something really nice 1 second, and the next he would be doing something nasty.
Depends who watched.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, do you have a specific example that gave you that idea, Chris? Like where you would use that power?
So it actually leads into my next question. So I'll give you the answer to that
Sure.
with the next question, which was what was said around the seed is that we could make the world better by action rather than wishing it upon the world. As we leave to go and rejoin the world, what actions would your character be doing to make the world better, or would they be doing anything at all? For Corax, he would probably go and rejoin Telbin and travel the world with someone like Telbin, during which he would be picking and choosing who can and can't become gods. If he believed that someone was evil and that their ascension would put everything in jeopardy, he would use his ability to stop them from ever becoming a god.
That sounds like a conflict with Talbin.
Yep. I'm imagining that it would be a real enjoyable ride between the two of them on Telbin's cart.
Nina
have a
is so
blast.
stabbing Telvin if he ever sees him again, by the way.
He's stabbing him?
Yeah.
Wouldn't even know that he did it. That's the best thing.
Yeah.
I found the speech.
Sweet. Do you have any thoughts on Chris's traveling partner?
I'm
Did you
100%
kinda-
here for it. So here's what I'll say. Chris played the most in my headcanon of gods, which is what I do with all gods. Like anytime there's like god stuff in my fantasy games. Chris portrayed the most accurate depiction of that. Of like, or the not most accurate, but the most like true to what's in my head. Gods, especially like if you're having like what do you like, not hierarchies, but like, you know, family trees of gods, where you have like the baser level of like knowledge, right? The highest level of gods cannot be good or evil. The god of knowledge is also a subsection of the god of knowledge is also the god of secrets, which is knowledge. And a subset of the god of secrets is the god of lies, which is, most people would be like, that's bad, right? So like all of them have these, and I think the lower you get in like the smaller your domain is like that's where you can have good and evil, right? But the god of war doesn't give a shit if you're a refugee rallying against a horrible tyrannical government, or if you're a warlord just crushing people for the sake of power. The god of war likes war. And if you're praying to the god of war by doing war, fucking hell yeah, dude. He's all about it, right? Like the god of the hunt, not to speak for Seydlitz, but in my opinion, the god of the hunt doesn't care if you're like hunting animals for the sustenance of your family or hunting people. As long as you're hunting, hunting's hunting. Let's have it. So the god doesn't care whether the individual is good or evil, as long as they are worshiping them and worshiping them by following their tenets of hunt, knowledge, war, whatever it is, right? Now, when you get more granular, like the god of war, a sub down would be the god of protection, right? Mina can be good or evil. Protection sounds inherently good, right? What the hell did what was Arel? I blacked out. Valor. Valor is also a subset of war. Also seems pretty good. But you can be valorous and still be a fucking, like, be working for the bad guy, right? You know, you can still have valor according to your tenets. So like, I think the higher up in the echelon of gods you get, or the broader in the domain you get, the less you have the option to be good or evil. You just are neutral, right? So like, I don't think Corax could ever be a good or an evil god. He just is the god of knowledge, and the god of knowledge doesn't really give a shit as long as knowledge is where knowledge needs to be, right? So however that works. Now I think if Corax like as a player, right, and as a non like NPC god, I think Korax could willingly tip the scale. Like I think you could do bad things. Like if you're walking amongst the people and you're like fucking nope, no, like I think you can tip the balance and be bad. But I don't think the gods are inherently. So I think him going along with Telpin and like pruning the tree of knowledge, I think I don't have any problem with that. Now that is to say, if we snap a chalk line here and say this is where this ends, right? This is where the Rise ends, and like let's say Rise Book 2, right, it comes out and it's years later, and the God of Knowledge has gone on what the populace thinks is a rampage of knowledge and is just blinking people out of existence and stealing knowledge from the minds of people. Do I think the people rally against and then try to kill a god? Yeah, for sure.
Can't blame them.
Yeah. So campaign 2 of the Rise, if there ever is one in the future, could be about the people rallying to kill like normies, no gods, just rally to kill Korax. Could 100% be the plot. I think that is fully a possibility in the world.
I will say though, so as much as Korax would be going out and going, you don't deserve to be a god, it's not going to be, oh, I wanted to be the god of cheese. Knock yourself out, buddy. But if you were like, I want to be the god of murder, we don't need a god for that. There's a god of war, you can pray to someone else, but the god of murder doesn't need to happen. The god of...
But Korax is also riding with Telbin, so guess who's pushing Korax in the directions that they want them to go?
Yeah.
Sneaky.
Yeah. Fate, man.
Yeah.
Fate has its own wild shit.
So
all
what
right.
was your
I wanna
question?
know-
Like, what would we do with our...
What would your character do in the world to make it better, or would they do anything at all? Would they carry on as normal? Live their lives?
Well, I think the first order of business, I think, for Antares would be to deal with her siblings and her mother. At least her siblings, definitely, and Rhea. She would want to end the line of the favored, and if that leads to a confrontation with Nilumriel, then that's where she would go. Yeah. So it'd be in hopes to redeem both of them, both Rastaban and Eltanen. So, yeah. And then
And
she'd
the
go
dragon?
home. I don't think she would redeem the dragon. No, I think she would just kill her. Yeah. And then she'd go home to... she'd probably go home to Stephanie first and then make sure she's okay. Have dinner. You know? Yeah.
Get that smooch.
Hopefully. God damn it. And then go see Dreshen.
Norm?
Mina would, I think we discussed it when we were talking about what we wanted the Annihilation Seed to do. I think Mina would try to meet up with his mother and the King of Nod to try to find out a way to return the moon from back into orbit. Because he still believes that is affecting a lot of people and making it hard for them to live normal lives.
Mm-hmm.
I before Matt goes, I'm going to slide in here. There's two things that are very interesting when it comes to the moon, and I fully that's one of my what ifs. Is like, what if, because you guys at the end, you guys were waffling between picking like put the moon back where it goes or not doing that. The moon is slowly crashing into the planet. The moon fully fell out of orbit. And the King of Nod is in fact, despite not putting his mask on, is in fact doing everything he can to stop the moon from crashing into the world. That's the nicest thing he's done for the world. But I fully was like, when you guys were like, yeah, maybe we'll put the moon back, I was like, yes. The moon going back is a double-edged sword, and I would have found that to be very interesting to end with, because you guys would have done it for all the right reasons, and all of your reasons are correct. Norm, you are 100% correct. That is causing people problems. It is causing like socioeconomical problems. It is causing agricultural problems. It's a nuisance for the world, right? However, after 40 years of darkness just being shunted back into the light, it would have been fucking chaos. It would have been absolute chaos. There would have been riots. People would have lost their minds. Like entire, like like Corso would have been like a war zone. The landscape would have changed. Like imagine things that began to thrive in the darkness and you just go, have some UV lights. All the plants die like overnight. Like it's, so it would have been absolute chaos. It would have been ultimately better. Like over time, things would have gone more normal, right? But in the like immediately ensuing aftermath, fucking chaos. It would have been absolute chaos.
Everything that fed the entirety of Corso would have died.
Died. Yep.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
how do you feed
And,
those people?
and that's a classic Mina kind of decision. Is short-term thinking. This is the best solution, and not thinking about the consequences.
Yeah. Which is great.
But
Which is perfectly Mina in that moment. And I was like, yes, please put the moon back. That's so wild. I love that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But I think that what allows it, him not doing it using the seed to do it, but going back into the real world and trying to do it naturally, is that he's going to have to work with people to get it done. So the possibility of maybe it doesn't go bloop back into the sky, but it's like a gradual thing. So it's no longer a decaying orbit, but the orbit's restabilizing. So it's like a gradual rebrightening of the nightlands, like that. It just leaves that option open,
Oh yeah, he's fully got people are telling me he's an idiot, and there's a better way to do it. But
yeah.
Except Corax isn't with him to tell him that.
He's got to figure it out for himself.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. So you said you found the speech?
Yeah, but
Matt
Matt needs to answer Chris's question.
Right. Yes.
Honestly, I'm gonna be honest, I never thought that far. The thing is, once the campaign ended, once the depths were answered, I always kind of thought to myself, it's like, if we ever carry on to a season 2, if everybody wants to bring back these characters, I'd have to be like, well, I can't do that because once the depths is Seydlitz adventure was done in my eyes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So he'd become a family man?
Well, he's still the god of the hunt, and he still has to provide. How he does that is kind of open to interpretation. He might do like the rich and pompous thing where he goes around the world hunting all the great beasties.
That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Because it is a hunt. And the great beasties doesn't mean like big monster. There might be an arrow flying at the dragon right now, for all we know.
I also I much like the spirits thing. I also I bring a preconceived notion of gods into every game that I play. Whether it's not relevant to this campaign because it didn't ever get that far. I don't remember where I first heard this. But when I first started the channel, I ran 2 campaigns in my homebrew world, which I have since like thrown out. But in that, we were playing D&D, and so I liked the god Bahamut, and one of like the legends about the god Bahamut in the 4th edition was that there are some that believe that Bahamut was a dragon who ascended to godhood, and I was like, yeah, I like that. I like the idea that a regular person or a regular thing can somehow ascend, and so I delved into that, and I had this whole like theocratic thing that, and I want to say I heard it somewhere else too, and that just sort of like expanded upon my mind. But in all these like creation stories, especially in like fantasy worlds, right? We have like the gods were born of nothing and then they created the world. But like, why? Eru Elvatar in Lord of the Rings creates the Aenor, and then the Aenor, they're like, you know what I want to do? I'm gonna make these clay dudes. I'm gonna make these tree dudes. But like, why? We never know why they want to do it. And so my logic was that people are god batteries. So people are created to worship the gods, and worship gives the gods power. And so in that retrospect, in my homebrew world, there was basically this big war, and the people began rallying behind this dragon who was leading the war, and they began basically worshiping this dragon. And when they worshiped the dragon, they didn't worship the gods. And so the dragon slowly started to become more and more powerful, and then the dragon had so much worship that it ascended to godhood, and all the other gods had less power, and they were fucking pissed about it. And that became this whole like meta plot in my world. But if Matt as Seydlitz just decides to fuck off and doesn't do like godly duties of the divine god of hunt, people won't pray. Like in the way that like sailors will be like, I pray for like a peaceful sea, right? People won't pray before they go out to hunt, and then people will stop praying to Seydlitz, and then Seydlitz will slowly become normal. The god of the hunt will just no longer be a domain, which I think is very interesting. That's my headcanon, at least. Is people are god batteries.
Seydlitz's mind, he would be okay with that in
Yeah.
a lot of ways. Yeah.
I mean, based on what you've played of Seydlitz, I am inclined to agree with that. Yeah. So people are little god batteries is a subplot in all of any world that I have interact with gods. Is always in there.
So speech.
All right. Here is I found it. As King Japheth lies defeated, the chaos of battle receding around him like the tide, he gathers the last remnants of his strength for a final address, his voice barely a whisper, yet carrying the height of his fallen empire. And then Seydlitz kills him.
Bolt. Mike falls over.
He would have said, behold, the folly of kings and the fragility of power. His gaze would drift over the blood-soaked ground, the fire-lit sky reflecting in his dimming eyes. I sought to carve my legacy upon the stones of Samora, to etch my name in the annals of time. But what are we if not mere mortals dancing on the strings of fate? A pained smile creases his lips, a mixture of regret and realization. In my quest for dominion, I turned my heart to stone, blinded by the allure of the crown. I waged war upon the world, seeking to bend it to my will. Yet here I lie, conquered not by sword or spear, but by the indomitable spirit of those I sought to subjugate. He coughs a spatter of blood, marring his voice, once regal bearing. To those who stand victorious, know this. Power is a voracious beast, insatiable and wild. It devours all, friend, foe, and kin alike. Let not my demise be in vain. Tread the path of power with caution, lest you lose yourself to its seductive embrace. Jace's gaze finds Mina, a flicker of respect or perhaps acknowledgement in his fading eyes. You, who delivered me to this end, carry not the burden of my death. I was but a prisoner of my own ambition, a slave to the crown. In this final moment, I am liberated. And with his last breath, a whisper escapes him, a final decree to the wind. Let the gods, old and new, bear witness. In my death, may I find the peace that eluded me in life, and let the world remember. His voice trails off, the light in his eyes extinguished like the last ember of dying flame. King Japheth, the once mighty ruler of Chrysaria, of Chryserich, surrenders to the inevitable embrace of death, leaving behind a legacy entwined with both greatness and tragedy. But he didn't get to say any of that because he got a crossbow bolt in the face.
To the Hell Mall.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wasn't
It's-
expecting that kind of self-reflection.
Yeah, instead of self-reflection and redemption, he got a crossbow bolt to the head and then sent to hell.
Well, he was
that.
kind of a bad
Huzzah!
dude.
You know, he
Yeah.
wasn't the greatest dude, that's for sure.
Yeah.
That's for sure. He got a fucking crossbow bolt to the head and then sent straight to hell. All right, let me see here. What else we got? What other questions we got here?
Are we
What
the
were the
baddies?
secrets? Secret. What were the secrets on everyone's backstory? I can actually tell you that right now.
I
Let
have
me see.
no idea.
I
me
got
s-
mine already. Mine were already revealed. That I'm
um,
a reconciliator, specifically a favorite of Nalumriel. And what Antares doesn't know is that she's the daughter of the King of Nod, kidnapped as a child by Nalumriel.
and the secret that you didn't know was that
Yeah.
Nalumriel was actually your mother.
Yes.
Let me see here. The Rise. 10-minute backstories.
My secret was honestly doesn't really apply much because we never got into the Whitecaps as a society. And besides, it kind of turns out that Bennett chose to fall on his own.
Yes. Yeah, and you didn't actually write an unknown secret. The unknown
Yeah.
secret was that Bennett was alive.
Yeah, I can actually read the unknown secret for y'all, and it was literally just a player's note. And basically, it was me explaining to Mike how I didn't feel comfortable with knowing a secret that my character wasn't supposed to know.
Mm-hmm.
Which is fair.
Yes, it's the
Because-
same thing with me. I didn't know what my secret was.
So
Let
it's
me
like,
see
so
here.
I, the player, didn't know which secret. It's like, oh, the secret that the player knows, but the character doesn't. I myself didn't know that because I gave Mike 2 unknown secrets.
Korax. His known secret was after leaving Telbin, he had to resort to theft to survive in the city. He was nearly caught and may or may not be wanted should he return. There's a couple references to him stealing a book. That's how he got that book. The unknown secret is who Telbin is or where he came from. He was always very secretive and never talked about himself, only ever talking about the current journey. That turned out to be Telbin was the demigod of the path. And what the hell did I have? I don't know. I used to have a notebook that I would actually physically write shit down in for you guys. Your secret that you didn't know. What the hell was your secret that you didn't know? I don't remember now. I wrote them all down in my notebook because I couldn't write them down on your your sheets.
Was it about Dawnsfall?
I don't think so. I don't think so. Let's see here. Snow, your secrets were secrets. When fighting the gang at Dawnsfall, Mina had a momentary vision of squaring off against his sister Rhea. In the vision, they were facing each other in a fighting stance, panting heavily, blood and sweat mixing with the rain falling on their faces. A flash of lightning, Mina sees a dark figure standing haughtily behind his sister, grinning with bright blue eyes. That secret was the entire inspiration for the scene where Rexy dies.
Wow.
Unknown to his unknown one, it's unknown to the siblings. Uldorn is not their biological father. Arel was pregnant when she met Uldorn. They have raised the children as their own. That is correct. And then your secret was obviously that your mother's a god. That's what you didn't know, is that Arel was a god. I don't remember what the fuck Korax's secret was.
If it said he was the greatest god of all time, he knew
No, that wasn't it.
That's probably what it was. Because
that was
best of the
obvious.
best. Yeah. That's true.
There was no secret about that whatsoever.
Yeah, I don't remember what the hell.
Korax isn't the god of knowledge; he's the god of delusion.
Yeah.
That's actually what it is. That's the truth. Let me see here, and just for fun, do we have one? No. Yeah, I don't know where I thought I had the. I used to have like a yellow. I can picture the notebook too, like a yellow notebook. Used to have it when I wrote down all the notes, because I wrote down like all the NPCs and I like color-coded them, like green NPCs were good and red ones were bad. But yeah, I don't know what the secret for Korax was. It'll come to me. Like the moment I end stream and I go like make a sandwich, I'm gonna be like, ah, fuck. Let's see here. Matt asked a question. Matt said, at any point, did you ever feel like your character made a sudden departure from what was originally planned, as if the character was taking the lead, not the player? A good question.
Antares was always in the lead. Sometimes I felt like I was getting stuck in like, oh, this is what my character would do, and she'd be like bitchy to the guys or something like that, or just be difficult to deal with. But it was always like, but yeah, but that's what she would do. That's what she would do. Like the thought of doing something like antithesis to her, to what the path she was on, just felt super, like, made me feel really uncomfortable, like I would betray like her character development or something like that. So sorry, what was the question?
I think you got it. I think you got it.
I think I answered it, yeah.
You did it. You answered the question.
Yeah, she never strayed from the path that I set her on, and I think that I'm really happy with how I played her, despite how uncomfortable it made me feel being an evil character on the road to redemption. It got really hard emotionally, but I'm really happy with how I played her overall.
Yeah.
So.
Not to answer my own question, but
Well, you have to.
Are you sure?
You do have to, yeah.
I have to answer my own question. Gah! Dies of death. There is actually a moment somewhere when we were trying to figure out domains where I personally believe that I lost track of my own character.
Like,
and
figuratively?
Kind of where do I want to go with this? It was kind of stuck in that, Korax got the domain and his wish was everybody figure their shit out.
Mm.
I was in that trying to figure my shit out stage.
Mm.
And at that point, I kind of lost track of the character because it's like, and I was kind of figuring, it's like, maybe the domain is different than what it should be.
Mm.
And somewhere along that point, the character kind of came back to me as like, no, we're going this direction.
Well, I mean, that also, not to jump in and talk for Chris, but like that happened to you too, Chris. Like, I think your original idea was like a god of protection.
So
when you
Korax's
first started.
original plan was entirely god of protection, and it didn't make sense. He was too nerdy, he was too scrawny, and it just didn't feel right. And that's when Korax Korax went knowledge rather, because his early skills, if you look at them, they're all protection based.
Yep.
So the bubble of silence, giving people better defense, all of that was around protection. It just didn't make sense.
Because Mina was the god of craft, was going to be the god of crafting.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's why your symbol was a needle and thread.
Yeah.
Yep. So
That
100% different than
that
where
improved
they
better
ended.
protection than Korax did. So
100%.
they just.
I think it worked out much better.
Fuck you. Yeah.
Can you imagine Mina just being the god of crafting?
Right.
Would have got all these enemies and he goes, "I'll stitch all your clothes, everyone."
Yeah.
We've all got holes in ourselves because we're killing everything.
Like none of this 17 damage type of things.
Yeah.
That would have changed the vibe of the game.
That'd be so interesting. That's what I want. That's my what if. Is what if Mina was the god of crafting and Chris was the god, or Korax was the god of protection. What would the campaign look like as that? Right? Yeah, that's so funny. Is that everyone? Did everyone answer that question?
No. Yeah,
I think
everyone did.
I think G touched on this because she said a word. She said the word. Zalvi asks, what is the most uncomfortable moment for each of you? Was it when I told you to smile more? G? That was my most uncomfortable moment.
Favorite moment in the whole.
That was my most uncomfortable moment right there.
Yeah. Oh, no, that was funny. Oh.
I'm going to call out Matt on this one. And in the very first episode, when Mina was trying to be super friendly, and I think he called Seydlitz uncle, and Seydlitz ripped him a new one saying, "We're not related." And guess what? At the end of the campaign, whose wish was it for us to be related?
Yeah, that's true.
But at the time, it was uncomfortable.
Whose family now? Whose
I think
family
that's
now?
just the sign of the character progression.
Mina won over Seydlitz. That's all I'm going to say.
That's the true.
Oh,
That's the true story.
He still thinks you're the most troublesome of the bunch.
Now
I
Mina
agree.
calls him uncle.
Yeah, I think for Antares, any uncomfortableness came whenever she had like some kind of setback. Like she was doing good, like she after the war on Samora, she was doing pretty good emotionally. Like her and Mina were getting along, her and Seydlitz were getting along. Even Corax was getting along until he found that stupid Heart of Gloom. Then things started going downhill for him.
It was going great.
and then when the boys like absconded away and left them.
That is one of my favorite moments.
Yeah, that's a great moment. But the betrayal she felt then, like that really knocked her down a peg, and that really like took me down like emotionally, and like fuck, that really hurt her feelings. Like not the fact that they just left, but the fact that they didn't tell her, because if they were like, no, we're putting our foot down and we're leaving right now and we're going, she would have went with them. But the fact they just left, and then like that hurt her feelings really bad. So anything, and then she got
Mina and Corax had left on their own with Seydlitz still up the city, he would be like, well, I guess I'm doing this on my own.
Yeah, but it's like, and then she got a hold of that stupid gloom orb, and then so that affected her even more. So like having to turn my role play plan around and have her become more sad Terry's again, that's hard.
The heart of discomfort.
Yeah. I think I told you, Chris, my whole idea with the orb was that if Corax tried to get it back from her, like, and we had to role play it, she would purposefully throw it over the edge or drop it into a crevasse. And she'd be like, and then drop it right in front of him.
Still mad about that orb. Not gonna lie.
I wonder, did I hide any notes from you guys about the orb? Or did I give you the full thing? Let me see.
You gave us the full thing.
We got the whole thing.
Yeah.
Well, in Roll20, there's a section you can see, and there's a GM notes section, and you guys can't see that no matter what.
Like we knew what it did, its abilities, all of that.
I think I'm gonna jump in front of Snow here and say it's like, the thing is, discomfort is kind of perspective, and might be a cop-out answer, but I'm someone who's kind of hard to make uncomfortable in the situations based on the lines and veils that we put up. But if I had to say, and this isn't a negative discomfort, the parts that made me uncomfortable was the parts where Seydlitz had to deal with his family. Not because of, it was uncomfortable for me to do. It's kind of that social awkwardness of he's a guy who isn't very good at speaking.
Yeah, but I think
when it comes to his family, he's kind of weak to them, and it's just like, oh god.
I think you handled those really well. Like, so if you were nervous during those scenes, you couldn't really
I was always nervous during those scenes.
You couldn't tell. So,
but in your own defense, Matt, you did come to this campaign and you were like, hey, I'm a newer role player. I'm interested. I haven't done it a lot, but I want to learn to be better role playing. And then you were like, I have an entire family who's alive and actively a part of my life. And I went, okay. okay. So in no world,
I didn't want to follow the brooding rogue stereotype where everybody's dead.
Which is fair.
I mean,
but in no world was I not going to make you role play with your family.
I said, my family's fine. No one knows where they are. They're over there.
Yeah.
They're nowhere near me, and I don't interact with them. We don't get on. They're okay. They just do their thing.
Yeah.
Could have gone on that route.
Yeah.
My family interactions got a little awkward.
Listen, you know what? I'm going to reveal this because this show's over now. Your family always had an awkward. So here's in G's backstory. First of all, she knew that. So like she already said her secret that she wrote but did not know, her character didn't know about themselves, is that she was the daughter of the King of Nod, right? Totally fine. But as a daughter of the dragon and of the favored, they all treat each other as siblings. So like Antares and Eltanin and Rastaban all call each other brother and sister. They also all doinked. In G's backstory, each one of them at separate times all had a relationship with each other. So none of them are actually related. Your whole family dynamic is fucked from the start. So 3 kidnapped, largely imprisoned, Stockholm syndromed children, forced to live and fight for a mental lady. All were like, well, guess we're stuck here. Might as well doink.
Might as well make the best of it.
Yeah.
You know,
so your family dynamic never had a chance. Like it never stood a chance. Absolutely wild.
Yeah.
Absolutely wild.
I would answer the question because I didn't.
Oh yeah.
I
was wondering who didn't
don't
answer.
remember anything particularly uncomfortable other than the first words from G when we left them behind. Because
Really?
I expected it to be, oh, this is going to be funny. And then G's face when you said, and the boys have left. I was like, oh shit. This was going to be funny.
When I had my little rant, when I said, it's all Korax's fault.
I love that.
Other than that, I roll with it.
The only awkward moment for Chris was G always asking for Chris to have emotional moments.
Oh, yes. And then Korax gets an emotional moment. She goes, no, that's too much. That's
Don't get mad at
take
me.
away the emotion.
Not that emotion.
She goes, no, I got sad covered. You don't get sad. You don't get sad, you don't get mad. That's mine. You get other ones. Boop.
Yeah.
It's like Mina did number 1 sad, I'm number 2 sad, and I'm number 1 mad. You pick a new emotion. Get that depression orb out of here.
Yeah. Well, because also I wasn't expecting it to like turn into a confrontation between the two of them, right? So I wanted him to like show an emotion so Antares could help him, you know, not be like become like her punching bag or whatever, you know. So
no, I will say that Korax is one of my. He is a what do I call this? Your character is a guinea pig. Your character is my guinea pig in this. Like it's very easy to write a tragedy into your backstory, right? Like to make you have to deal with that. Like Mina was a bit of a challenge because you were normal. You had a normal life. You were fine. Your parents were fine. Much like Chris, like Korax, your family was fine. And so I had to, and I couldn't do the same thing to Korax as I did to Mina. 1, because that's cheesy, and 2, because Korax didn't write anything into his backstory. But the more you played Korax as like this, like kind of suspicious, middling, sometimes bad, sometimes good, very like flippant kind of character, who was like sort of like bound by your own code of ethics, but sort of like meh about law, was like you kind of played this like line walker. And the more you did it with consistency, I was like, this kid is a middle child. And that's all he is. I was like, his family is normal. No one is extraordinary. They are regular people. They're all fine. Nothing bad happened to them, and nothing bad will ever happen to them, but also nothing exceptionally good will ever happen to them either. And the only way that this makes sense is that Corax is fucking dead center. And he had just enough coddling and just enough getting his ass kicked by brothers to like balance him out, and he cannot make a decision. He like just is in the middle of the road at all times. And I was like, that's it. He is completely normal. He has the most mundane family. They do nothing. And that was sort of, I was like, that's where he's gonna stay. Right there in the center of the needle.
Yeah.
I love that because he was written from day one as the middle child.
Yeah.
Forgotten middle child.
Yeah.
And then when we came up with names, when G came up with names, she literally went A, B, C, D, E
Yeah.
for their letters of their names. And he was just the middle letter.
Yeah, just the middle letter, which is perfect.
But like how maybe it's just his divinity talking, but he may have been the middle child, but he didn't have that mentality, right? Whereas the next sister below him, the one who was like always in the book reading, and she's the one who was truly ignored by everyone.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he had to look after his sisters. Like, you want to be, as a boy, I want to go run out with the boys and do stuff. And they were like, nah.
Take your sister with you. And you're like, oh.
Stay at home.
Yeah.
Look after your sister. And then when he had another sister, look after them both. And the older sister didn't want to spend time with them. So it was only Eve. She's the only one who liked.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Good times.
Yeah. I for sure like, let me see. Let me pull it up. So like middle child syndrome has that like out of the spotlight kind of thing, right? Where like there's a perceived neglect that like they don't have enough attention. But the way that like it waffles back and forth is like they will show skills in peacekeeping and mediating because they don't want to be caught between siblings. And then also, because they're the middle and they don't get enough attention from the parents, there's also rebellious nature and attention seeking. And those two dynamics, that was Corax. Was like not picking fights and protecting and ending fights, and also being like, you guys need to work together and figure things out, in Corax language, with figure your shit out. And also like finding like he looked at weird ways to help the city. That like you guys all thought like, okay, we need defense, we need archers here, we need pikemen here, we need this. He was like, cool, what if I go about this a way that like no fight ever happens if we burn the enemy to death? And you're like, okay, let's have a conversation first. But then also he was like just doing wild shit as his like rebellious, stealing shit, be like, I don't like that. Just like he kept secrets. I think of anyone, Corax had the most secrets. Like he would learn knowledge, then just be like, I'm not gonna use that until later.
Yep.
So it was absolutely that like peacekeeping, but also rebellious and sort of attention seeking. And then attention seeking, all of the things that Corax did was like half the time was ostentatious. He's like, and I produced a dragon out of my book. And also I have reorganized the library in a way that makes sense. Sorry, Queen. This is my library now. And I talk to rocks now, guys. And like everything Corax did had a little flair for attention seeking, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. All right, we have one last question, and I think this is the perfect question to end on. And this is from Matt. And the question is, if I had actually let your character die, what do you think your next character would have been like, and what would they have brought to the table?
Sorry, this is one of those hypothetical questions for people like me who always have a backup character on standby.
Yeah. And I'm the complete opposite. I never do. So I usually just run with one character. And
I also never do.
Yeah. Like, it would have had to have been Antares in some form. Like, I think...
Well, the thing is, you technically died on your first episode.
Yeah, technically. Just because, like, when you start at 0 tier, like, it's really... There's no unconsciousness, right? In Cypher, you just die. Right?
Yeah.
Like when you get
tossed out
of
of fire. Doesn't help.
Yeah. Yeah. Right? It was like, what would my character? She would just stand there and pull and try and strangle this slaver, and then she ends up dying. But I think just to alter the question just slightly, I think she would have become vengeance. She would have become the god of vengeance. So
Do you imagine if I let you die in the first episode?
it's like, hey guys, bye.
Like,
Then I
how
come back
mad?
the
Well,
next
that
episode.
backstory.
The next episode with a new character.
Like,
yeah.
how mad would you have been?
I would have been a little perturbed.
Because
Yeah.
I
Could
know
have
you
been
put a lot of
Altanin.
I know you put a lot of work into your characters like immediately. Like some people like I think Chris, you waited like a couple of episodes before you like wrote a whole backstory. But like, gee, I know you come in with like 10 pages, sir. Here you go. Fucking start reading. And I'm like, it's time to play right now. So I can only imagine if I was like, and she dies. You'd have been like, what the fuck?
Yeah, more or less the full concept of her, other than like I wrote out her dogma for her faith and stuff like that, and I wrote that out afterwards. But the meat and potatoes of her character I already had when I started with her, and then it was just like trying to suss out like playing an evil character and like getting into that mindset, you know, and like what kind of things would she say, you know, stuff like that. Yeah.
I don't
Before
know.
we met her, my backup character was Rhea.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
I
Cool.
would have had her as my backup character.
that would have been
That's cool.
interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting. That would have been a whole different story too. Wild.
Yeah.
And so what was your dominion or your domain plan?
I don't think I had that worked out. It was just going to be coming in and probably blaming you all for Mina dying.
Nice.
I love that.
My original idea was to be one of the slavers coming to the camp, and
Yeah.
then Mike was like, maybe don't do that because that's open hostility right away. I'm like, okay, how about one of the the captured slaves?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I had no backups and no plans for backups. Much like G, I was heavily invested in Korax, but had Korax died, I don't know, I would have thrown something together at that point. I don't like planning too much, personally.
Mhm.
That's
I guess.
also me because like once I start to plan for multiple characters, like I'll make a character and I'll be like, all right, cool, this is it. And then if I get a bug and I'm like, oh, but I got this idea, now I'm like, oh, I like that idea a lot better. But I'm already playing this character.
Hey, Mike,
I
can you
know
kill my character?
exactly that
Yeah.
feeling, Mike, and that's the thing is, yes, when I make a second character that's going to sit in the background, it's like, oh, this will probably be never used, but it's like, I like this idea. So I always make it some idea that it's like, well, in the end, I'm going to have to talk to the GM, so the idea will have to change in a way. So it's like, it's never a fully fleshed out character. It's just kind of a, here's the idea of the character. Here's what I think I want to do with them in case this one goes away. And I'll work it out when the time actually comes.
What was your
But yes,
backup?
I have a fully kind of backstoried character, kind of semi-synapsis, because it's just kind of how I am. The God of the Brood.
Is it
Okay.
a family?
So they are a very kind of low tier kind of domain,
Okay.
specifically the God of Spiders.
Okay.
That's why I called it the God of the Brood.
Interesting.
God of Spiders.
You just like shoot
And
spiders out?
And the character was kind of like, well, obviously I'm going to play a male character because I'm a guy, but they were kind of a gender ambiguous kind of character where they looked female simply because of their domain, kind of forced them in that direction.
Okay,
Mhm.
interesting.
Hmm.
What would their powers be?
Well, obviously there was a lot of negotiation that would be on the table, but it's like they were someone who was dropped off by, apparently their mother was like another small god, and they were dropped off in the Spiderwoods because in the book, the Spiderwoods, it details that the Spiderwoods lives a spider-like centaur people,
Yeah.
Jesus.
and they were raised there among spiders, and they rode around trying to find. They left the village for the spider treetops, and they basically rode around on a defanged, declawed spider horse.
So I will say so Monty Cook, the guy who wrote Cypher System, used to work for Wizards of the Coast, used to write for D&D. Spider Centaur people is the closest you can get to Drider without saying Drider, which is what they are. They'd be Driders from D&D.
Mhm.
Isn't
Which is
there,
interesting.
aren't there creatures called Meriliths too? They're part spider.
I don't know what the Mariliths are, but the Driders are like it's I think it's is it only men? I don't remember. But it's the torso like a centaur, like a torso and up is human, is drow, and then the bottom half is a spider.
I'm pretty sure it can be both.
I think so too. I think there's some weird stuff going on with the drow hierarchical interesting character
And the thing
concept.
is, well, the idea and the thing is, their personality was really what was going to kind of be a make or break for the character, because it's like, say this is kind of the family guy, kind of trying to be up, even though he's a bit of a grouch, he's kind of still friendly.
Yeah.
Oh,
This
Merilith
character
cool.
was very much going to be kind of, if we have to do the kind of, domain kind of spectral of good, neutral, evil, they were definitely going to sit squarely in the lawful evil category.
Okay. I dig it. Well, that is it for all of our questions. That's it for all of our questions from chat, from Discord, from our wonderful players here. I hope you have gained all of the information you could have possibly wanted about the Rise, because I will no longer be answering any more questions ever about the show. Hope you guys know everything you could possibly wanted to know. I'm deleting everything from my mind. It's all gone. I have to make Ray for a new campaign. Delete, Control, delete, goodbye. And that is that. I will say, we are planning. We are in the very early stages of planning a new campaign.
I need a copy of that core book.
Are
by the
we
way.
agreed on the system?
I think so.
I think we need
I
to still
think it was
go
kind
through
of a 3 people.
Okay. So what I'll say
It's like-
is currently the system we're eyeballing is Legend in the Mist. So we're
with
going to be
an
doing
S.
some more. What's that?
But with an S.
Yeah. I wish. So we're going to be doing some more play testing and figuring out of that. And I think, if anything, that's probably what we're going to see over the next month or so in place of the campaign. It will either be streamed or it won't be. And if it's not streamed, it'll either be put on YouTube, put on Patreon, or it won't be. I will leave that up to these players. I may run a couple of one-shots. I may run a couple of character building sessions with these guys. World building, lore stuff. So it may just be very casual. So I don't know if it's going to be recorded or what it's going to be. But if anything, it'll probably be on Patreon. But that's it. That's all I got. Chris, you seemed to enjoy your interaction with Legend of the Mist. G seemed to be understanding slightly more based on that in our conversations. So yeah, I'd love to sit down with you guys and chit chat about that. And do some playthrough and stuff. Would be super fun. But that's it. So, for the last time, the cast of the Rise. G, who are you? Where can we find you? And what are you up to?
I'm G. Patreon one-shots is where you'll see me next, most likely, at the end of the month. 4th Saturday, which is the 25th. And then the 26th for Mundus Novus. Yeah, and in the Discord, you all know.
Join that Discord. Chris, who are you? Where can we find you? And what are you up to?
I wasn't doing this, but just the one-shots now.
And always Bloody and Duskfall.
That's true.
Oh, yeah.
If you haven't seen that, it's Blades in the Dark. We play an offline game. We have done 2 episodes so far. 2?
Yep.
2. Second one's due to drop soon on the tubes. And our third one in a month's time with a new characters joining us.
Yeah, we got joining a 5th person to our cast. Matt, who are you? Where can we find you? What are you up to?
I was hoping to go last. Oh well. I am Matt or D, and I am used to be Seydlitz, since we're calling it in. And you'll find me in Mike's Discord, the Patreon one shots, and the next Patreon campaign, wherever that comes as whatever character that turns out to be.
Love
When
it.
will that happen? Who knows?
Soon?
Maybe it might be next month. It might be the month after.
Here's hoping it's soon. I hope to get it. It's what is it? October right now. I hope to get the new season started at least by January. I figured 2 months to like downtime and plan and prep for you guys and like get you guys some like one-shotty times and things like that. Seems viable. But last but not least, Norm, who are you? Where can we find you on the internet? And what, pray tell, are you up to?
I'm Normal Snow. You can catch me in the one-shots if I ever have time again, and maybe in the new campaign, and maybe in the Discord.
Hell yeah. All right, Norm. All right, everyone else as well. Thank you so much for being here, for joining us in this post-mortem, asking all your questions. Chat, thank you so much for giving us some of those questions and hanging out with us and coming on this journey with us. That is it for us. We will see you next time on the future of these Patreon campaigns. That's it from us. We'll see you guys. Bye.
Bye.